Okay, on today's show, I wanted to bring on somebody that I've known for a very, very long time. It's been over 20 years. I want to say it's been about 22 years.
Yeah, 22, 23, something like that.
Yeah, something like 2020. I mean, 2003-ish,
This is back
2002.
when T-Mag was really popular.
T-Mag, yes. This is one of my
Yeah.
T-Mag and then T-Mag sort of spin-off friends. I had Tony Gentilcore on a year or so ago,
Oh,
maybe
good.
maybe a year and a half ago.
He was
So
a nice guy.
yeah, he's a lot of fun to talk to. Um, uh, in this 6 months, I might go through everybody that I knew and and
Why
catch up
not?
with them.
There's
But
some good.
neither
There's some good interviews there to be
there are
had.
definitely some good
Yeah.
interviews there. Um, uh, I don't think that. I mean, there was a core group of people there in at TMAG, and then the spin-off Rugged, which
Hmm.
really sounds like a gay bar. I'm sorry, it just does.
Yeah. Nowadays, it definitely
Now I
does.
think it did then too, but
Yeah.
that's another thing altogether. But you had Eric Cressy and you know,
Joel
trying to remember.
Marion was there.
Yeah, Joel Marion,
John
trying to
Romaniello.
yeah, a bunch of people that have that were tracked toward doing something in the fitness space, but a lot of people that weren't. They were just like kind of fitness interested folks who were not necessarily trying to make a living and make any kind of impact in the fitness world. And I certainly that's not what I was intending to do at the time. And then it sort of happened, in the years after that. And now you are doing that. Although this is obviously not your main career, but
Not
tell us
yet.
about your main. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your main
Sure.
career, and then go from
So
there.
yeah. My name is Justin Wright. I was one of the non-fitness influencers back in that day.
There you go.
But I was an athlete. I was a high school baseball captain. I did MMA. I've done strongman. So I was always interested in sports. I played sports forever. And so just a natural transition to lifting and then found the magazine because it was actually a physical magazine you could buy in
Right.
the grocery store at that time. So that's how I got on the forums when I was in college. And so my career has all been around science. I'm a scientist by training. I'm a molecular biologist, and then I ended up getting my MBA at Boston University. And during this time, I've been training people and helping people off and on the whole time I've known you. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's with you get to the point where sometimes in life you're like, I just need to do something different. And I'm getting to that point in my life where like, okay, it's time to make this a real thing,
Yeah.
and transition. So I'm in the middle of transitioning. I'm still traveling sales scientist, deal with MDs, PhDs all over the US.
Mm-hmm.
Like this week I'm going to a major hospital in Kansas City. 2 weeks ago I was at Mayo Clinic,
Yeah.
right? So it's that's my career, but now it's training those people in a different way and
Mm-hmm.
not in science. It's how to optimize them with fitness and nutrition. So it's a different world in that regard. The training is pretty similar to what most people would do, but the goals are different.
Mm.
The goals aren't necessarily looking like you or like you train. It's more mental status and like an aura, a leadership aura.
Mm.
Like you
Yeah.
see a fit leader walk into the room, you're like, that guy takes care of himself. He has systems in place to keep his health up. Because if he can keep his health up, he has no 2 p.m. crash in the afternoon. He can go to the client dinners and still last all night long and be fit and be ready to tackle the day. So it's a different world that they live in. Their stress levels are up here
Mm.
all the time. And ours are usually, down here. And of course, everybody gets stressed and it fluctuates, but they're on. Their fight or flight mechanism is fight all the time, and so their stress levels need to be managed in a different way. So it's
Mm.
a different way to think about it in a holistic perspective than it is from like just training people at a gym.
It's a different wrinkle on the work life balance
Hmm.
equation. I think
Yeah.
because a lot of us think about. like work time versus family time or whatever, but there's also the me time part of it, and that and fitness is kind of where that fits. And
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah. A lot of them don't have time. They're like, I don't have time. And like,
yeah.
you do. And the crazy that they become the best clients, the ones that say, I don't have time, because they start working out. And it's just like, dude, you need 3, maybe 4 days a week, under
Mm-hmm.
an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need hours and hours in the gym. But then those hour-long sessions where you're just thinking become 30-minute sessions because you can think clearer and harder
Mm-hmm.
because you're physically fit. So it frees up time. It's counterintuitive, I know, but like having that mental clarity and that mental sharpness all day long means those tasks that you have all day long that would take longer take shorter times. You can make decisions better, you can make decisions faster, you can do more with less when you're physically fit, just because your mind is sharp. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, there's a thing about um, that you kind of need that sort of dilatory time that you're not thinking about anything
Hmm.
to recover your brain enough to think about real things. But if that's not active time, then it just sort of expands to
Yeah.
suck up all of your time. And that's when people say they don't have enough time. A lot of it is that they're spending so much time trying to recover their mind and to
Hmm.
be able to think clearly and figure out how to act or whatever on the thing that's in front of them, and that just sucks up all the air in the room instead of being able to actually like go to the gym or go run or do any of the things that people do that you know move their physical body around and provide that kind of environmental feedback.
I think, speaking of just like brain recovery, like they don't get enough sleep,
Yeah.
right? Like they don't, the, you talk to executives, like I talked to a high level Washington University St. Louis researcher, and it was like, yeah, I slept for 3 hours last night. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like your brain is not recovering. Like it's not, let alone your muscles. It's like you're not even getting into REM sleep to where your
Mm-hmm.
brain can recover. And it's just one of those, you have to focus on it. You have to turn off the screen. Like you can look at a TV. TV is
Mm-hmm.
totally fine to watch at night, but like staring at a computer, like we're sitting at a computer right now, or at your
Yeah.
phone before bed, it delays the melatonin release, and
Mm-hmm.
so you don't get into deep sleep as fast as you would. And so, like, you have to step back from being an executive for like an hour before bed. Have a routine to where you read a book and you physically settle. No alcohol either. Like, we all love alcohol. Alcohol is delicious, right?
Yeah.
But that also prevents you from having the melatonin release and getting into sleep three, which is physical recovery. The first stage is deep sleep, and then REM is sleep four. So it's like you can get to sleep, you can sleep all night if you have alcohol, but you're not recovering. You wake up
Yeah.
groggy, you're emotionally tired. So it's just like different ways to approach it. Like you're not 25 anymore, man. Like
Yeah.
you can't just go out and recover. It's just doesn't work like that. You have to focus on it. And if you can recover smarter, you just perform better. And so that's where like executives, it's training them to think holistically and not just I'm going to go exercise. Like have a plan for your exercise, have a system built in.
Mm-hmm.
And so you work with somebody like me. It's like here's your system, and then I don't like giving them like really tight guardrails for everything. Like if you want to switch out an exercise, I don't care. Let's switch out an exercise, something you like to do.
Yeah.
Your nutrition, there's a couple of rules that go into it, but it's really like I want you to adhere to the plan, which means you have to enjoy the food you eat. Right? So you eat more of certain things to keep you fuller longer, but you still can go have the client dinners and not be the guy ordering a salad with a side salad, you know?
Yeah.
So so
Yeah.
you have to be able to understand that. And so it's a different way of looking at just your fitness and nutrition plan from a holistic perspective.
Yeah, and I think that because the bodybuilding world is just sort of the source, or has been historically the source of so much of that information,
Hmm.
like how to be fit, how to look good, all that stuff. That people get locked in on the fringe part,
Oh yes,
on you
supplements
know
big time.
the 1% part,
Hmm.
and because I mean, it's easy to lock in on that stuff because it's very regimented, and a lot of people need like a lot of structure,
Hmm.
and they just gravitate toward that. And of course, there's the whole like um, born again fitnessy person. Just like taking like because people,
Yeah.
not no offense to anybody who's found religion, but people who find religion later in life find it so hard. And that can be very true of fitness, and that's kind of any age. I mean, we see it here among members in the gym too, with like someone comes in new and they just want to do all the things and they want to do it like all exactly right or whatever,
Yep.
and not thinking about what how much variation still produces good results.
Oh yeah. And you see, like, man, there's so many like they call them science-based lifters now,
Yeah,
and
and I
they
know some of them personally.
yes, they focus on like the most minor tweaks to get that extra 1% out, and
Yeah,
those are headline grabbing. It's fascinating to read the stuff,
yeah,
but when you think about the pyramid of success for muscle gain, weight loss, whatever it is that your goal is, the very bottom is just being consistent. Like their
yeah,
base layer is consistency, right? You don't have to get it 99.9% right all the time. You have to just show up and do stuff. Like I'm sure I'm doing standing biceps curls when I know Bayesian curls and preacher curls are better for my biceps growth, but I'm like, you know what? I don't care. It's like just go do the exercise. You don't
yeah.
need to do everything all the time. You need to just show up and be consistent about it. And
Doing anything is better than doing nothing.
right.
And yeah,
And
it might
yeah,
not be the most optimal exercise or the most optimal time of day to exercise or any of those things.
people worry about food and like
People,
the one that came up was anabolic window. Remember that thing?
yes,
Yeah, I'm like, no, man. Unless you train fasted and you're lifting first thing in the morning, there's no such thing as anabolic window. And so I tell my executive clients, like, if you have lunch at noon or one and you're going to eat dinner at seven, work out somewhere in between there,
yeah,
right? And because your leucine threshold still is going to stay high, you're still digesting protein.
hmm,
It's not going to kill you. And muscle protein synthesis is still high 24 hours later after a workout. So you're still using all the protein. You don't need to worry about it like within 45 minutes. So for the average person, the average exec, just like go work out and eat when you can,
yeah,
and you're fine. And the that removes a lot of the stress from the situation because when you are as stressed as they are, like all the time up here,
hmm,
and you're like, I don't want to add to that. I want to take away from that. I want to make you calm down a little bit so you can just focus on what's right in front of you.
hmm.
And I don't know how you guys feel about Huberman. I have opinions, but keeping to myself. That
I
should tell you
definitely
which
have
way I'm
opinions.
leaning here. Um, but he does have some interesting, like psychological tricks to do to help calm yourself down, and that I think those are useful. But like when it comes to reading literature,
Yeah,
not that great. So
no, yeah, I what somebody that I know very well in the fitness industry, who's a very smart PhD level guy, um, is doing a podcast under Huberman's
label or
network.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right now,
yeah,
and he is very good, and I know he is very evidence based, and not in a cliche way, but in the actually reading the evidence
right.
and actually doing
Putting the
studies
work
himself.
in.
Yeah, putting the
Yeah,
work in and not,
yeah.
and not trying to tab himself over from some other scientific discipline and pretend like it's the same thing the way Huberman does. Um, and I
I
can't
mean,
really,
for that guy, it's probably going to launch him, which is fantastic because
yeah, no,
it's a,
he's
people follow him, and there's a couple of them out there that I'm just like, no, I'd rather go listen to like Alan Aragorn or Brett Contreras is a good one, or the British guy, excuse me, not British, Australian, uh, uh, Lane Norton,
Oh, oh,
right?
he's an American. He was married to an Australian.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought he was
Yeah.
An Aussie.
No, yeah.
Okay,
So we're getting into the we're rolling back a little bit in time here. So when you and I were on the T Nations forums, Alan
Lane was there,
Aragon,
right?
Alan Aragon and Lane were on the bodybuilding.com forums. And I was there too, but I didn't really
Got it.
participate there. I mean, there's only so many forums that you can like
Yeah,
fall into. And then there was another group that was on a forum called Wanna Be Big. There was
I haven't even heard of that one.
another supplement
Mm,
company, and
okay.
so I still know a few people from there, and then I got to know some people who were probably part of or who were definitely part of bodybuilding.com, and then I still obviously know the T Mag folks, but it was Alan Aragon and Lane Norton who essentially came up with if it fits your macros
Yes,
from
that's
the
exactly right. Right.
from then. And
Yeah.
like you and I probably interacted with Berardi, who was
Yes.
very much about like uh macro combining, like just not using fat and carbs together.
Yeah, that was
And
so weird. That was such a strange way to look at food because you
it
can't
was a
really do
strange
that.
it was a
You
very
know?
strange way to look at food. But yeah, no, that's if I regret anything about that time, I think I would like to have been more active on bodybuilding.com and watched that all develop. I mean, I know Lane, and actually, I produced Lane's last podcast. Uh,
I think he's good. I
y-
think he posts good information and he
yes,
reviews information. Brett Contreras is the same way. Menno Henselman is another one that's really good. Even though I'm like, you don't really look like you work out that much, but whatever, it's fine. And he's a very, very handsome man.
uh,
And so I think he was a model. I'm pretty sure he was a model. So his Instagram videos are literally,
his
the
face,
Vogue cover and
his
it's
head,
just his face and talking. And so
excellent.
I'm like, okay, you're an attractive guy. I get it. Like, can you zoom out a little bit? And then he worked out with he interviewed Jim Wendler recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or we're talking like maybe 2 months ago.
Uh huh.
And he's in like a tank top and dress pants and dress shoes in the gym, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you
Oh
doing?
my lord.
So yeah, I'm like, okay, I like your content and the way you break down papers and stuff, and you do good, but like, come on,
I know I haven't talked to Wendler in a long time, but I do know Wendler, and
yeah,
I would love to have heard what he had to say
yeah,
about that
yeah,
after it happened. Oh my God.
yeah. Just
Uh,
shoot him a text and find out, and let me
yeah,
know. I'm interested.
Wendler is he can be very unfiltered. Let's
uh,
just say he can be
isn't
very
that like
unfiltered.
the title of his podcast? Is it?
It may be yes.
It's something like, yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's just made me laugh, and so yeah, it's just like, okay, but there's some really good ones out there, and I like following them because they can break things down well in like little digestible bits
Yeah.
for the masses, and that's really what people need. Instead of, people ask me about supplements all the time. I'm like, dude, that's the top of that success pyramid, that
Yeah.
very tippy top of the success. You need to show up, right? And the
Yeah.
first place you need to show up is the kitchen,
Yeah.
and not the gym. It's the kitchen. And can you do that for 2 months, and then you'll see, so, and then you start throwing in supplements, and to get the ball rolling. But
Hmm.
I mean, habits take 66 days to form. That's 2 months. You got 2 months to form a new habit, and you can't just remove a bad habit. You have to replace it with a good habit, because then it still fits your psychological mold of doing something.
Hmm.
So take a bad habit out, switch it to a good habit. It's like switching from a shitty food to a broccoli. Make it a habit, and it'll just become natural over time. So I don't know. I think it's just funny how people like, tell me about supplements. I'm like, no, tell me about how you're eating. Like, have you
Yeah.
tracking any food at all?
Yeah.
And No. What'd you have for lunch? Penn Station, Hardee's. I'm like, okay, let's start there. So, yeah.
Speaking of developing a new habit, I'm on a tour of food tracking apps at the moment. I I'm not I don't like any of them. When it really comes right down to it, they all have some just major flaws, and like one of the major flaws is their databases. And you think that MyFitnessPal is something that has been around forever. I think
Hmm.
Armour owns it now.
Oh, really?
Uh,
I don't think I knew
yeah,
that. Okay.
they have for well they at least they did for a while. Maybe it's changed again, but they're supposed to have the biggest database, and it still sucks. Like if you put in, you know, grilled chicken, what you get is Trader Joe's grilled chicken, which is like if you care about sodium or whatever, it's going to give you a sodium number that is super high compared to what you just
Yes.
cooked at home. Unless you
I,
just bathe everything in fucking salt, I mean, I don't
the
know.
one that I actually enjoy is chronometer or chronometer or
I don't know that one at all.
that's a good one.
I had stupid simple macros recommended to me this week. I'm trying to take a look at it. I've
So
been using this My Net Diary, which is not terrible, but not great either.
so if I put in chicken breast here, breast spell right, chicken breast, skin removed before cooking is the first thing that comes up.
Ah.
Yeah. So, and then you can create like, let's say you have a supplement plan and you take more supplements in the morning and night.
Mm.
Same thing for like a recipe, something like that. You can
Hmm.
create custom things in here and say I'm eating my custom food and it'll automatically know the macros and everything.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
like this one. The only reason I'm not using it in my coaching is because it's only a personal thing. There's no coaching back end.
Oh,
So I like if I tell somebody to use it, I can't see what they're doing without them like screenshotting it to me or something, which is
yeah.
you don't want to do that, right? So the app I use for coaching is called Kahunas, and it's a newer one, but they have a really good database too. Um,
Hmm.
but that's a coaching app, and so you can do nutrition, fitness, supplements, lifestyle. So it's again going back to the executive, it's holistic in how it approaches it. So I like that. But chronometer and chronometer, however you want to pronounce it, I think that's a really good one. I got
Hmm.
my wife to use it, and I got a bunch of other people to use it because I think when it comes to progress and stuff like this, people have no idea what they do or don't eat,
This is correct.
right? They have no clue. And one of my clients is like, he wants to get to about 190. He's at 205 right now. I'm like, okay, how much protein are you eating? I don't know. So I have him start tracking. I'm like, dude, you're eating like 70 grams of protein a day. Like, you need to triple that. Like, let's get you way higher. And so, but tracking it shows you that. And so you can see where you're like, okay, I need to improve. And it's a game changer for people wanting to make progress in their fitness and nutrition plans.
Yeah, yeah. What I was going to say back to habits, MyFitnessPal has a thing now. It's like if you want to start a new habit, like you click this thing and then it's supposed to track how often you
Oh,
do whatever thing is that
okay.
is a habit. Which I thought was interesting. Maybe not entirely necessary. Like I'd probably build a separate app for that, but that's just me. Because I would want to sell it for more. But that's that's just the
That's
marketing mindset.
I do have like in Kahuna's app I use for coaching, it says daily habits, which is like I can assign it to people and it's like walking, sunshine,
Yeah.
stuff like that, which is all just really important. And I mean, dude, on my YouTube channel and on my socials, like I talk about walking, and if you can't get 10,000 steps in, here's a different way to do it and still get the same benefits. Stuff like that, where it's like get your daily habits and don't sit at a desk all day. Stand up and do some squats. Something. Get your back out of this hunched over position.
Hmm.
And so it's like those are the daily habits I put in there, and I don't know, it seems to work for me.
The 10,000 steps thing. I mean, we all know that it's arbitrary now, and it's the real number for change seems to be about 8,000.
It's like 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But more always seems like better. I don't know. Personally, I haven't only had one day in the last 2 months that I had less than 10,000, and that was the day that I was like not feeling well.
The
It,
minimum that you should do every day is 2,500. 2,500, every 1,000 steps over 2,500 remove like lowers your all-cause mortality rate by 12% for a short period of time.
that's
So
insane.
that's not insignificant,
No,
right?
definitely not.
So that's a big deal. And so the change, the 10,000 step change that you can do if you can't do the 10,000 steps is like a 15-minute walk. And it's like an interval walk though. It's not just go walk. It's walk like you're a speed walker. Maybe not like Olympic level where they look
Hmm.
silly, but like walk fast where you're going to be a
Yeah.
little bit out of breath for 3 minutes. Walk slow for 3 minutes. Repeat that 3 or 4 times. You get virtually the same benefits that you would get at 10,000 steps. That was a Japanese study done in like 2008, something like that. And so just
Wow.
that's like, okay, I just had lunch and I'm going to go walk for 15 minutes and do that. And so you get the 10,000 steps plus the other benefit that comes from walking after food. It's two benefits. It slows down digestion, so you have less of a blood sugar spike, which is fantastic.
Hmm.
And then the Italians call it la passeggiata, and that's just a stroll after dinner.
Yeah.
And there was a study done with an Italian group, and it was in America. So, like a bunch of Italians lived in this neighborhood, and then Americans lived next to them. They studied them. The Italians had like, I want to say it was like 15% like heart disease less just from their walk. Like that was tied directly just to walking after meals. So
I
I'm like,
guess.
get your walk in, man. Like you eat your lunch fast and get the heck out the door and go walk for 15 minutes and do it like interval style, and you get a ton of benefits, not just from the 10,000 step thing, but from lower blood sugar and all the other stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah, it sounds like probably the blood sugar part of it is probably the most
Yes.
salient of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you're aware of Stan Efferding, but
Yes.
yeah, somebody else who's also in my phone. Had, worked with Stan pretty closely for a while back when he was actually here in this building, and his thing in the last few years, probably 8 years, has been like the 10-minute walk after you eat. Like 15 minutes is probably better, but like getting people to do any kind of movement after they eat
Hmm.
is kind of a big deal. And I feel like that's kind of something that has gotten lost in culture, because I think that is something that used to happen.
Yeah.
Like people used to take a digestive walk,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it just kind of got lost caught up in television and other concerns, you know. Um,
It's just so it feels good too. Like you eat a heavy meal and you're like, I don't want to sit here and just let it sit. I want to walk
yeah,
it off, right? And so just it gets things moving and it just makes you feel better. And I don't know. To me, and not a lot, not just to talk about the physical benefits, but the mental benefits too. Just the slow walk of the dopamine release and cleansing your brain of leftover beta amyloids, essentially.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, this is the scientist nerd in me talking.
Well, that's a good reason to talk to you. I know that you're a science nerd. So,
Yeah.
let's take a step back. I know that you had a pretty significant weight loss
Yeah.
transformation situation. You are more jacked than I've ever seen you in the 20 plus years that I've known you, like by far. Like
Yeah.
I mean, you used to be in good shape, and you know, I knew you were doing martial arts and stuff like that back in the day, and you were in good shape, but this is totally
It's
different.
different. Yeah. So I guess 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, my son was born. And 10 years ago, we moved back to Colorado and
Hmm.
I was working full time, wife, kid. I also owned a liquor store on the side, working full time. And when you're in that world, I was working 100-hour weeks. And I was just letting myself go. And then eventually I moved up. That store closed, and I moved up, and I was like a commercial director, country manager, just traveling all the time, and
Hmm.
just drinking a lot. And because that's what you do as an executive director, right? You entertain, and you have to
Yeah.
show your face. And so I got up to 265, and I'm
Wow.
5'10", 265. I was rotund. I I looked like I tried to find pictures of myself to see my transformation. I
Uh,
couldn't find any because I was just like embarrassed to
avoiding
like
the camera.
yes, or I would be on the very back and so you could only see my face and it was a very moon face. And so my wife had to like search pictures and she found like four.
Yeah.
And it was shocking. So I create like now that I train executives, like I know what they go through. So I lost 60 pounds. I get down to 205 and first time ever since I was a single digit age, I saw abs and I was just like, holy shit, they exist. So, and yeah, but I was working out a ton and just that tracking the food made me realize like what I need. And I was, God, we talked about fast food before this started. I was eating
Yeah.
Taco Bell and Wendy's because they were right next to my house all the
Right.
time. And so it was just very easy. So no, I'm going to be diligent and take this very seriously. So over the course of 10, 12 months, I lost 60 pounds and now I'm back up to 220 intentionally. But yeah, I feel good. It's weird. I'm in my mid 40s, like I feel physically amazing. It's the transformation that you get from the weight loss. The first 20 pounds, people noticed, right? And
Yeah.
it was that was it's not what I was going for, but it was like, wow, it's working. And then at
Mm-hmm.
that time I was like, I need to do more, right? So I was like, I need to exercise and drink less, and so I started doing more, and it just started kept coming off. But then I had like disaster strike twice in the middle of that. I was trying to work out, and I'm like, man, my ab hurts. This is bugging me, and it was in a weird spot, and I couldn't figure it out. So I had an ultrasound done. They were like, you might have a hernia, and then I had a CAT scan done. Like, you got a big ass hernia.
Oh, jeez.
It was 2 centimeters by 6 centimeters. So
Oh my
that's a
goodness.
that's a big hernia,
That's
right?
a big hernia.
I didn't know. I didn't have hernia pain because where they fixed the hernia was not where my pain was. And so I was like,
Uh,
okay,
so it's
yeah,
referring from a different spot.
no, no. So what happened was that was December 29th of 2023. I got that fixed. And then 3 months later, I'm like, guys, I'm having pain in the same spot. And they were like, oh, you shouldn't be having pain in the same spot. I'm like, well, I know that. That's why I'm here talking to you. And so I made him do another CAT scan. And so here in Colorado, the UC Health System, University of Colorado Health System, they have an
Mhm.
amazing app. And so the notes from the radiologist or the doctor, whoever reads the stuff and uploads it, you get a ping on your phone. So I'm shopping at outlet malls 2 hours from my house. Ping on my phone, and I look at it. It says you have a permanently enlarged appendix, which is causing the issue, and it's right where the pain was.
Oh,
Right. And so I was like, how did you not see that in the first ultrasound and CAT scan? Right. So
yeah.
5 months to the day, I had an appendix removed. And this is in the middle of weight loss. And so the weirdest thing is I weighed myself. I was at 205 ish when right before the appendectomy. But
Uh-huh.
I weighed myself that morning and I gained 14 pounds from the surgery in one day. From the
What?
bloating and all that. And so my
Yeah.
belly was
Yeah.
all sticking out. I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. It went down after, a couple weeks just
Uh-huh.
naturally, but it was so weird to see like how much you gained from a surgery. So yeah, in the middle of all that weight loss, I had two very invasive surgeries and but I feel great now. And so
Yeah.
it's still just like, it was just weird. And so yeah, not comfortable. I don't
Yeah. What are the
recommend those.
odds? What are the odds? Like appendix in your how long ago? What you were you over 40 already?
Yeah, yeah, I was
Up, up,
40. It was just last year, so I was about to turn 43. So I was 42.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because yeah. I mean, appendix tends to fall like among the younger set. It's not impossible. You can do it I mean at any point, but just statistically it's not that
yeah,
common,
no,
right?
and I have a buddy that lives a couple miles away, and he had the same thing right around this age, but his was a you have to get surgery right now. Mine was chronically enlarged, so I didn't have to like rush to the ER to get surgery. They're like,
Uh-huh.
we're going to schedule it out because you're okay, and then
Yeah,
it's like,
it's not
okay,
perfed or anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. But I'm like, how'd you not see that?
Yeah.
So that was actually the hernia surgery was fine. fixed and everything, the appendectomy sucked.
Did it?
Oh, it was worse than the hernia surgery. I don't know why, because it's
Was
like you're
that
just snipping out a little tiny thing.
was
So
it laparoscopic?
yeah, but it was like I don't know if it's just the angle they went in because there's three holes and they dig into you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like seized up. It was the weirdest thing. So my desk. This one was upstairs at the time. I'm
Uh-huh.
just leaning back in my chair like this, and I go to sit up, and my whole diaphragm, my whole abs just seized and started spasming. It was the most, and I couldn't breathe. My
Oh
eyes
my
were
god.
like bugging out of my head. My wife was right next to me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I can't talk to you because I can't breathe."
I
And then
can't
it
get
just went
airy.
away. And when I would go to bed, like the first two nights when I went to bed, that happened when I was in bed, just like trying to roll over and stuff. It was the craziest situation, and I'm like, that sucked. But it could also be that it was two pretty major surgeries within 5 months. I don't know what it
Mm.
was. But anyway, yes, I lost 60 pounds. And during that 60-pound weight loss, I created my program is general is called the Executive Athlete Protocol. So I deal with athletes because I was an athlete that are executives that, generally need to lose weight or want to just improve their current situation. So
Mm.
most of the people I deal with are former athletes, or like one of my customers, he's former athlete, but he wants to get better at skiing. So his wife doesn't lap him. And I was
Oh,
like, all right,
ouch.
we can work on this. And that just made me laugh. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And he's a great guy, but it's kind of funny. I'm like, okay, well, let's do this. And so it's all about just taking the executive and improving them. And so I took what I know and all the nutrition information that I've digested over the last 20 years and all the science that I've in read and just made this protocol. It's focuses on that. And so executives are a strange lot, man. They're, what's it like 60% of them are psychopaths or something like
That's what they say. Yeah,
that, right?
I've seen that. Yeah.
So it's like you deal with psychopaths all day, but like controlled psychopathy. And so it's, it's some of them are hard to deal with just because they know that it used to work, right? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. It's not working now, and
Yeah.
that's a hard thing for them to overcome. So I'm like, I got to play therapist sometimes and be like, listen, man, you hired me for a reason, right? Let's break this mold and listen to me. I act as like a consultant. You've hired consultants. You've been a consultant,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I give you frameworks to work within. I don't. I give you, the exercise and everything. But if it doesn't fit in your framework, we can remove it, and I'm fine with that. But like you work within this framework for a little bit of time, and then we talk all the time. Like I can text you, you can shoot me a note on the Kahunas app. We have Zoom meetings frequently enough to where if something doesn't work, then we'll figure it out and we'll take it out, we'll improve it, change it, whatever. And that's fine. So it's a little bit different of I'm not just a personal trainer at a gym.
Yeah.
And so, because we talk about food mostly. So yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun seeing people succeed.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those like, I've been a manager, and when you see the people you hire succeed, it makes you feel good too. Like and you helped them, and you want to help them, and so it's the same concept from like an employee perspective, but in a 3 to 6 month window.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see them hit their weight loss goals, and they're happy, and I'm like, awesome, man! I'm so proud of you for like doing this, and
Yeah.
and so then you gain some friendships over the years from doing this, and so it's pretty cool to see like these guys that are like really powerful succeed, and knowing that you help them out.
Do you get anybody who needs to gain weight?
Yes, I did actually. A former pilot. He's a buddy of mine. He super avid uh backpacker,
Uh,
and here in Colorado there's really long trails, and so he went on a 2 week trail, and he was probably burning 5,000 calories a day, but on the trail you only eat what you can eat, and he was maybe eating 2,000. And he's
mm.
like 6'5", right?
Oh my
He's
goodness.
a tall guy, and
Yeah.
he probably needed to gain 30 pounds after that. He looked I'm like, dude, you look skeletal. Like you need to. we saw him a couple weeks ago at the pool, and talked to him, and I was like, Rick, dude, you look great. Are you not going to disappear when you turn sideways now? So, and he started laughing. He's like, "Fuck off, thanks, man." So, so it's like for him, it was like you need to eat more. We need to
Uh-huh.
do a reverse diet, and where we're adding just 300 calories at a time for a couple
Uh-huh.
weeks, and then in a couple weeks we'll add 300 more calories, and it's a mix of carbs and protein. You ignore the fats at that point. But then I worked out with him a few times because he's local, so I can just go to the gym with him
Hmm.
and taught him how to do everything right and with intensity. Because that's the only downfall of I'm not able to train these people in person is you see people working out and they're just going through the motions. I'm like, you need to have intensity, right? So then you can progress.
Hmm.
And so I taught him intensity, and he understood, and then he gained 30 pounds. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Is your goal, how long do you want to work with somebody? I guess is the best way to say
Usually
it.
minimum of 3 months. Sometimes you can work with people for a year, just depending on what they want to do. Some people, I've had to turn people down. That like one guy recently wanted, older gentleman, super sedentary, and he's
Mm.
telling me what was going on, and he needs to lose 100 pounds. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I really think you should go to like a medical weight loss place,
Yeah.
right? So, and I know where he lives. I looked him up and said, here's some options for you. But usually, people 3 to 6 months is an appropriate time because first couple months normally is like weight loss. It's just getting into an optimal shape. And then if you continue with me, it'll be toning and muscle gain. And people hate the word tone, but tone is just how tight a muscle is at rest.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad about it, but how do you look when you're just sitting still, right? And so there's been a few times where like people are like, okay, now I want to take this shape and make it look better, more shapely. And I'm
Hmm.
okay, we can do that. And so then it's okay, maintenance for a little bit, and then we're going to ramp up your calories strategically, and it helps. And so people come out of that and they're like, I feel like $1 million. And like, you look like $1 million, man. You busted your ass. So it's pretty cool. It's really, man. I love doing this stuff. It's fun.
I know you and I have talked recently about the fact that like when somebody gets to a goal weight, they don't necessarily the mirror doesn't necessarily reflect it the way they think it's gonna, and there's more work to do past that to actually like, as you said, tone and like, you know, rearrange where your body weight actually
Yeah.
sits. I mean, personally, like I'm Mr. Visceral Fat in my gut, and I know even when I get to where I'm going, it's still going to be there. Like it's because it's always been there.
Yeah.
It's been bigger and smaller, but it's kind of always been there. Part of it is I have the anteriorly rotated hips that everybody thinks is so terrible, but isn't really terrible. It just happens to be how your body is, and so my gut just tends to stick out more.
Yep.
And figuring out how to mitigate that you know is a process. It's not. It doesn't just happen with losing weight. I'm not going to have uh, especially after the years of powerlifting. Like
Oh
there is
yeah.
no vacuum going on
Nope.
here. It's not possible
I've,
because the shit does not move. I
I've
can't
seen
suck
myself
my
on video
organs.
too, and I'm like, I look fat, and I'm in a t-shirt, and I'm like, and then you just lift the shirt up, and there's abs.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. It's just
yeah,
there. I can't vacuum at all, man. I'm just like, I'm just can't even try. The only time I try is just to try to strengthen the TVA a little bit for
yeah,
balance. And yeah, same thing. Like if I stand up right now and you see a little, it looks like I have a belly, but I'm like, but look at my arms. Like you can see all my veins everywhere. Like,
yeah.
would I be fat? Like it's just fun. It's just funny to me. So yeah, you just see people focus too much on weight loss,
Yeah, it's
right?
the number on the scale, and it's. I'm looking at it from a health standpoint in terms of like I know that I'll be healthier at that weight, but what that weight looks like is kind of the next step.
Mhm. Yeah, a guy I just talked to this week is a smaller guy on a smaller end of just physical stature, but he's got a
Mm,
little pot belly, right? he could probably lose 15 pounds, but he only wants to lose 5. Like
Mm,
if you lose 15, man, that belly's going to go away, and then you can build back up the muscle around. So you just don't do
yeah.
that. But if you just want to lose 5 pounds, it's not just going to come from your belly, right?
No, it comes from
It comes from
everywhere. And
everywhere. And so people get focused on the scale, and then there's nothing wrong with focusing on the scale, but it's not the only data point. Like I tracked my weight when I was losing weight every single day. Wake up, use restroom, scales right there. I weighed myself.
mhm.
I just wanted to see the pattern. And so I'm a nerd. I had a spreadsheet, and so I would put it in. This is before I started using the app to track things. But I would put it in, and then the spreadsheet was here's the date, here's the weight, here's the total weight loss, and then there was a graph. So I had a graph. I graphed it. I'm nerding out, man. And so
Yeah.
as long as the line was like this, I'm like, I'm good, right? And then you don't, if you zoom in, it's going to be bumpy, right?
All right.
But after that, and just whatever. So the people
The
focus
trend
on
line.
weight loss, and I'm like, yes, it is important to get to a certain weight, but like the BMI calculation is useless. The waist to hip ratio is a little more indicative, but
Mhm.
most people don't do that. And there's no like good way to do this because I'm obese right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
You don't
really?
look it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm my BMI is like 34. I'm like, oh
Good
yeah,
lord.
okay, yeah. This is really accurate, guys. So I don't even know what my waist to hip ratio is. I've never measured it. So I just know that
Yeah.
like come on, look, BMI is stupid. But if people focus on the weight, it's fine to focus on the weight. But how do you close fit? How are you sleeping? Are you
Mm,
still snoring a bunch? How's your energy levels, right? Because especially the people that haven't worked out in a long time or just getting back into it, they're essentially new lifters, and new lifters can recomp really easily. They can grow muscle
yeah.
really easily, and then they can lose fat really faster. So the scale weight might stay the same, but I'm like, dude, your shirts are tighter. Like if you show me progress pics, I'm like, dude, you look better, man. And so don't focus on the scale weight right now. Focus on how you feel and how your pants are fitting.
Mm,
And that's a huge indicator of progress.
yeah, I'm sure. When you're talking to folks, how often are they coming at you with questions about, say, GLP-1 agonists
So it's often, and
these
I
days?
have no problem with them.
Yeah,
I I
I don't think
support it.
there's any problem with it. Yeah,
Um, I think that in all of the stuff that I've read and my science side of my career, I know a lot more in depth about this stuff because the companies like Eli Lilly, we all know that I think, is it Mujaro or Wegovy? I can't
I
remember.
think it's I think so.
Whoever
It's one
makes
of those.
whatever, but it's Eli Lilly's version. They're
Yeah.
using my company's products to do phase 4 clinical trials. And so
Mm,
I can't say like what they're looking for because they don't even tell us,
yeah.
but they're using it to do secondary indications. So these drugs are amazing. And people shit on, oh, you use a drug to lose weight. I'm like, dude, there's so many health benefits that come from these things. Like you lose weight, your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate goes down. Because your blood pressure's down, your kidneys are less stressed, so your kidney pressure goes down, so you remove
Mm,
kidney disease. You have less cravings for alcohol and bad things, like less sugar cravings.
mm,
So, I mean, there's a litany of benefits. And so, of all the drugs that have ever really like come out, this is like as close to like a miracle drug as possible right now. And then there's some other ones they're in the mix right now. I think it's Regeneron is making like a myostatin inhibitor, and
yeah.
so it's like lose weight, gain muscle, same time,
Yeah.
right? And so the biggest thing with GLP-1s is you don't want to just lose weight, right?
Right.
You want to lose fat. My
Fat. Yeah.
best friend is on the GLP-1 right now, and he's a chef, right? Well, he was trained as a chef. We owned
Uh-huh.
a food truck together, and I'm like, dude, what are you eating? Tell me what you're eating. And he goes, well, I had an orange for breakfast. And I was like, that's 40 calories.
Yeah.
Like that's not like you need to ramp up your protein intake because I said it earlier on the podcast too. Like you need to protein intake needs to be high, and there's a reason for it. There's mechanistic reasons within your body, but it's a simple way. If you're eating protein and you have protein in your body chooses to use fat for fuel. It's simple solution, right? But if
Mm,
you don't eat high levels of protein, your body's going to choose whatever's easiest. It's going to be fat. It's going to be muscle. It's going to be liver glycogen, right? It's going to
mm,
all that stuff. So like, eat a ton of protein, like 50 grams a meal for you, dude, at his weight, and it helped him because he was looking gaunt, and I'm like,
yeah.
you need to ramp this shit up, bro.
He's
And
getting
so,
Ozempic face.
yeah. So I think the thing about GLP-1s is they get prescribed. Great.
Yeah.
What are you going to change? Like, what nutrition habits are going to change? I really wish they would have a nutritionist paired with it that has something to
Yeah.
talk to these people about. Like, you can't just go eat a bag of Doritos and think you're going to lose weight. So there's got to be
Yeah.
some long-term clinical effects like that.
They're used by and large, I think, by the medical community the same way that the psych community uses antidepressants.
Mhm.
So here's your antidepressant, you'll feel better.
Yeah, I don't have to talk to you.
Here's your GLP-1 agonist, you'll lose weight.
Yeah.
It'll just happen, just like it's magic, whatever. And let's ignore repatterning your eating
Mhm.
toward something healthier. Just eating less is the same thing as eating right. So,
Right. And it's, tell people those, if you get 80% right, massive progress. You're going to make
yeah.
massive progress. You do not need to get 100% right because perfection is the enemy of greatness. And in this
Mm-hmm.
situation, if you can just eat well 80% of the time, dude, I eat dessert all the time. Like I had four cookies, like cookies, big ass, cookies today, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm not going to explode. And so I think
Yeah.
if people just need to get it 80% right, you can still enjoy your dessert. You can still have
Mm-hmm.
a beer, a glass of wine, whatever it is. But get it 80% right, and you will make huge progress. And we talked earlier about the success pyramid, consistency, like showing up, right? The next one
Mm-hmm.
is macros, not macros, nutrition. This is for
Mm-hmm.
weight loss, I should say. It's
Yeah.
it's calories,
Yeah.
and then macros, right? So it's like they're still really important, but like understand your calorie intake and then keep your protein high, and then it's fitness. That's like 80% of your success is showing up and nutrition, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other 20% is fitness and recovery. So if you can 80% right of 80%, better progress than you've made in years.
Yeah.
So good. Like, great. I'm happy for you. So I really think that people, there should be some educational materials that go along with it. And people assume that, gosh, for years it was creatine caused kidney disease. It doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember when it came out, it was like, this is like a steroid. I'm like, no, it's not. But
Yeah.
that's the only reason I can't drink grape products anymore is because of Muscle Tech's grape flavored creatine, the 4 scoops, and it was like 50 grams of sugar. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aging myself here. But
that's tough sledding.
but then high protein diets cause kidney disease, and like no, they don't. And like
Yeah.
there was just a study that reaffirmed it 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, no, dude, eat a good amount of protein and then fill in the gaps, and you will make massive progress on that. And even people that are not on GLP-1s eat more
Mm-hmm.
protein, fibrous vegetables too, like, and fruit, and make that your focus, and you'll be well on your way to success.
Knowing that it is difficult to get like decently prepared vegetables in even high end restaurants a lot of the
Yeah.
time that isn't are just soaked with fat. Like, what do you tell clients about what to eat when they're on the road or?
So I tell them, look at the My Plate view, right? Or I think it's called My Plate, where it breaks it down instead of the food pyramid, right? It breaks it down by
Right.
percent of what should be on your plate. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of half the plate is fibrous fruits and veggies,
Mm-hmm.
25% carbs, and 25% protein. that's kind of how you should look at your plate when you make success. On the road, don't order stuff like collard greens. I love collard greens, but they're full of butter and fat and stuff. Like if
Yeah.
you're going to get veggies, ask for like steamed broccoli,
Yeah.
right? And then you can sprinkle some salt and pepper on at the table or whatever, or sauteed asparagus because they're not going to saute it in so much oil that's going to be sopped, but you can let it sit on the plate and any oil will go onto the
That's
plate and
good.
then it's not on the
Yeah.
asparagus. So it's focus on half your plate being fruits and vegetables, and it's hard. The other thing with like here's a trick for your readers, your listeners, is for salad at home. Instead of putting all your stuff in the bowl first, put your dressing in the bowl first. Spin it all around, right,
Mm-hmm.
and get it all over. Then put your stuff in. That way you've controlled the dressing, and by putting it all on the side, you can mix it up. That dressing will go all over everything. That is a properly dressed salad. And so like salad dressing is fatty. So like an ounce in a whole bowl is more than enough, but people don't think it's enough when they put it on the material itself. But if you start with it on the side of the bowl and then mix it up
Mm-hmm.
that way, perfectly dressed salad every time. So
Here's another trick around salad dressing: make your own.
there's that too.
You
Yeah.
can, I mean, you can use as much or a little oil as you want, and some mustard keeps things from separating.
Hmm. Good
You know,
Dijon.
yeah, a wine vinegar or lemons or limes or whatever spices you want because they don't have any calories to speak of,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's pretty much what we do, honestly. And I'm not a huge fan of dressing anyway, so it's not like even if I were not worried about my food, when I ordered a salad in a restaurant, I would want the dressing on the side so that
Yes.
it's not like I'm not swimming in it,
Yeah. That's the next tip is get the dressing on the side.
dressing
Or
on the side.
you get a steak, tell them not to put butter on top of it when they serve it.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Or so
I think that it's a little bit of like executive privilege, but not just that. That you can't go into restaurants and say that you want a particular thing that's not necessarily on the menu the way you want it, and you can ask for it. And if you're in the right kind of restaurant, you're going to get it, and it's
yeah,
going to be good because everybody wants a
that's what
tip,
they deal
right? I
with,
mean,
right?
yeah, exactly. It's what they deal with,
And it's
and
not
it's the
it's
type of
not even like you're not asking for anything crazy.
right, right,
It's you're not asking for your steak to be Pittsburgh style, right?
right.
You're asking for just some basic, simple, minor prep change, and that's
Mm-hmm.
perfectly reasonable request. And so
Yeah.
I think execs know this stuff, and then it's just a matter of reinforcing it from my perspective. And salad dressing on the side, don't put butter on my steak. As many vegetables as possible, and then a baked fun thing. Fun fact about baked potatoes: if you let a baked potato cool, it actually turns some of the starchy carbs into non-edible carbs, which become like prebiotics. You lose,
Interesting.
yeah, in a 400-gram yellow potato, which is a good sized potato. That's a
Yeah.
pound. It's huge. You only wait, let me think about this. No, sorry, 400 grams and shoot, I usually have the math in my top of my head. Anyway, let's say you have 100 grams of carbs in that potato,
Yeah.
which is about a pound. It's a pound of potato. That's what it is. That's 400 calories. If you let it sit for 5 minutes, some of those carbs turn back into non-digestible. So you instead of going from 100 grams of carbs, you go to like 87 grams of carbs. And so
Wow.
it's fascinating how that works, but it does happen, and it's good for your gut. So it's a
Mm.
prebiotic that helps your gut flora. So I'm like, let your potatoes sit for a few minutes. And the second reason why that's important, physics nerd, potatoes have high heat. And what I mean by that is it takes a lot to heat them up, and also takes a lot for them
Mm.
to cool off. So what's why French fries are always hot as hell for a long time. Same thing with the potato. Let it sit, right? Because it's going to stay hot for a long time,
Uh-huh.
and then some of it turns back into prebiotics, and it's good for you. And you have less carbs that you're going to digest and use.
The prebiotics are it's like potato starch, like that kind of
Yeah, it's like
kind.
inulin.
Mm.
This, yeah, inulin, and there's a couple other ones. It turns into a non-digestible carb, and so it just helps your gut, which is good.
That's crazy. We have one of our trainers here is a competitive bodybuilder. He's not a big guy, but and he's somebody who's like a very dramatic like change. When 5 years ago when we opened this thing, we we're doing apparel and we had him in a photo shoot, and it's like I can't use this picture because he has tits. Like, what am I going to do? I can't, and now he's fucking ripped, but he's a huge like potatoes over rice guy. Like potatoes are better because nutritionally better. They're more filling than rice. You
They are
don't
more
digest
filling.
them as fast.
Yeah.
And so you're not ripping through them. Your gut's just not ripping through that, and suddenly you're hungry again.
So that's most
Um,
people say that about white rice. The only difference between white and brown rice is the husk is removed from brown rice to turn it into white
yeah,
rice. And so the
yeah,
husk is where all the fiber comes from. So if you eat brown rice, it's the same concept as eating like a potato,
mm,
same GI level, gastrointestinal index. So yes, that's true for like white rice, jasmine rice, stuff like that. Potatoes just sit longer. They're more voluminous, right? And so
yeah,
it's one of those where it does keep you fuller longer. So if you're on a diet, potatoes are awesome, right? Especially sweet potatoes are fantastic because those will keep you super low GI for like a long time and keep you full for a while.
yeah. Excellent. Uh, I'm going to say that we're going to call the game right here, and I'm going to intend to have you back and
Sure.
talk more in the future about whatever happens to come up. But like, you're my science nerdiest oldest friend, and it's always been fun to talk and
Thanks, Jim.
see how your career has gone over the years. It's been cool.
It was fun to be on here, man. I appreciate you asking me on. Yeah, happy to come back anytime. And I'll give you my socials so you can post them so
Yeah,
people
I
can
was going to
follow
say, how
me.
can people
Yeah.
find you?
So it's the simplest. It's Wright Lifestyle and Fitness. Last name is Wright. So it's either Wright Lifestyle and Fitness or Wright Life and Fit. And so you can go on Instagram. You can go on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and there's a website. Not a great website. Nobody looks at websites anymore anyway. So
Unless they do, but yeah, totally.
socials where it's at, but you see me posting on socials all the time, multiple times
Yeah,
a day, and
yeah, for sure.
then you can see what I look like and give tips and tricks. And I mean, I talk about alcohol and sleep. We talked about magnesium before we got on this, and I talked about 6 different types of magnesium and how they benefit. Right? Just
Oh,
like
I need to have that conversation.
yeah. Yeah, there's a couple other doctors I follow that list some of the stuff. It's great. Like there's like 12 types of magnesium. But anyway, conversation
Good
for another
Lord.
time.
I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
aware of two. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I am at the Jim McD and all the social media. This show is 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. 50% facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we will talk to you next time. Thanks again, Justin.